Red Chaser.
Friends, I stand in front of you before this epic, awesome GameCube Kiosk. Look at that thing. I just finished up getting it all cleaned up, pulled everything out, made sure everything worked. I recovered this thing from my brother, who calls himself the son of Rad Chaser. You may have seen him on the channel. He got this thing from Circuit City way back in the day, back when they were closing and they were just gonna get rid of this. So a friend of his, a couple of friends of his, ended up snagging it. So the short story is it bounced around from house to house. It ended up at my brother's house where it stayed for a good number of years. And then he moved in with his now wife. He had to downsize just a little bit. So he handed this thing over to my sister, who was gonna make a game room and have this thing in it. That never panned out, unfortunately. So it sort of sat in her garage for a while. And every so often I would come down, I'd come visit for holidays. They live about a couple hours away, and I would say, man, I would really like to take this thing with me. And I just didn't have the means to do it. And, my sister would always say, yeah, we'll bring it up. We'll come up and visit, we'll bring it up. So finally, it happened. You can see that in our recent video where we acquire the GameCube Kiosk and we just sort of talk about how we got it and stuff. This video is gonna be a little bit more in-depth in terms of all the pieces, all the little bits and bobs. So, the screws, the TV model, just the in-depth stuff. I really haven't seen a video like that. Although, to be fair, I haven't really looked. But I don't think there's too many videos like that out there, just going in depth in every little nook and cranny. So I'm going to attempt to do that as much as I can. If you see this and you want me to add anything in a future video, I'd be happy to do that. I am down to clown. We got season 3 coming up. This is December 2024. Next month, beginning in January 2025, is going to be the start of Rad Chaser season 3. And we want to keep elevating. We want to keep things moving. We want to keep chasing. ABC, always be chasing. So that said, let's look at this thing. Let's dive in and see what we can see. Okay, we have the GameCube hooked up to the TV. This TV will eventually go onto the kiosk, but I'm just gonna try it out over here. Let's turn it on. Ooh, listen to that little crackle and that little noise when you turn it on. Good stuff. All right, so we have S-Video there on the screen as indicated. So what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna stick a game in here. I went ahead and went with Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles because it's Final Fantasy and I love my Final Fantasies. So let's see what happens. Let's pop this baby on. Game in, game on. Come on, baby. Let's see what you got. Nothing. Let's see what happens here. Let's kajigger it a little bit. This video should be running. We're plugged in. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we're at the right input. AV S-Video. It says it's S-Video. Let's see what happens. Hang on a second. Okay, so I plugged in the non-S-Video connector and switched inputs, and that seems to work. So it looks like it was the cord, but I will go back and see. But other than that, the disc could not be read. Well, that can't be right either. Let's look. Reading disc. Oh, there you go. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Press start. No memory card. Not be able to save your game. That's fine. We just want to see what it looks like. Crystal Chronicles. You know what? I'm going to switch this over to 24 frames a second just to get that screen thing. Okay, so I got the other camera out and it seems to be working real nice. That blur on the text is supposed to be there. I'm looking at it with my eyes and it's blurry too, so. Okay, well look, it seems like it's working. I'm a little upset about the S-Video thing, but it is what it is. Maybe I fiddle with it here and try to see if something else happens. Look at this cool opening scene. Yeah. Man, nice loud audio coming out of this thing for sure too. Cool. Okay, so I've sort of kajiggered it around, but oop, Gone. It's gone now. Oh, there's some kind of little interference. Looks like a weird, looks like Rainbow Road from the side. Some signal's getting through, so it might be the cord. I'm guessing it's the cord. Okay, so I am going to troubleshoot a little bit. I've got the other TV here, which also has an S-video input. I need to put it on the S-video input. I've actually been using a Wii U controller to change the inputs because I don't have a remote for this one. So let's go input video 2, video 3. Okay, so looks like I'm getting that same interference from the other TV. So I am going to conclude that the cord is the culprit. So it looks like there's going to be no S-video for this video. I might have to go and find one on the interwebs unless I can clean this thing. I just swabbed this thing with alcohol and it didn't seem to do anything. So that's about as far as my technical expertise goes in terms of fixing stuff like cords. I just watched a couple of videos on composite versus S-video cords. I know we're having trouble with that S-video connector for the GameCube Kiosk, and based on what videos I did see, I decided I'm going to get a generic one off eBay just to compare and contrast because it looked like it's pretty visually different. So we are going to test that theory out. I just ordered it off eBay, so hopefully it'll be here in a few days and we can get going with that too. Okay, so the bottom line here we have determined is that the TV works, the S-video input on the TV should work, the S-video cord that came with the kiosk that runs to the GameCube does not seem to be working. As such, I can't test out the S-video capabilities of the TV yet from the GameCube, but I've got the regular cable that came with the GameCube, and that seems to be working. So we are good enough. We're good enough to go. So we'll get things cleaned up. We'll stick the TV on here once the kiosk is all good, and we'll take it from there. Booyah! In a world where magic reigns and posers drain. Okay, so here's a look at the fluorescent light that goes inside the little cube part. Here is the part number. So if anybody can, I'll probably look it up and see if it's still available or if it's not, I don't know. But I feel like, I'm guessing this might be a little tough to replace, but let's find out. This piece right here, this is where that light will connect into as well, as indicated by this little connector right here. So this panel here, I'm gonna take off, and just because if you see how this little strip of whatever, looks like paper, maybe more like cardboard, is out a little loose, I'm going to take this off and get a little cleaned up and realign it. So it's this weird bit set right here, these like star bits. Can't remember what they're called, but I'll look them up. But security proof kind of things to get these screws off. Well, lucky I did pull this thing out. Look what was on the other side. Got some nice promo stuff here. Let's take a look. You got Paper Mario 1000-Year Door. Play It Here. Pikmin 2. Star Fox Assault. Nice. Sucks that there's a little bit of a rip here, but I'm fine with that. Clearly, I'm gonna flip it over. Some copyright stuff here. Gameplay help, hotlines, etc. Recorded, 24-hour recorded game info. Interesting. Wonder what that was like calling those numbers up. Anyway, now I feel like that I've taken that part off. More of this stuff seems to come off and needs to be cleaned, so I'm gonna get to it. Okay, after a little finagling, I got this blue plastic piece off, so I'm just gonna give it a clean, and then all this nonsense underneath needs a little bit of clean too. So, slowly and surely. Okay, so I got the blue piece off, I cleaned it up, and now I'm gonna screw it back on and then put the other faceplate, and I'm gonna put this thing, see what it looks like. Okie dokie. Got this little promo thing underneath the clear faceplate. Looking good. It sucks that it's ripped, but it looks pretty cool either way. Nice. Okay, well, she is coming along. Definitely have her close to being pretty set up. I got the inside all cleaned up. Just for fun, I kind of put all the plastic parts together, and then I got the GameCube set up on top here. Now the question is, the controllers, I guess they might come up through a hole underneath here, and the power supply as well, like this. I'll see it all comes up through a hole here. I got these little pegs that came to. Well, the pegs correspond to these little holes in the bottom of the GameCube to keep it in place. Now it's missing one. I don't know where that went off to. It looks, these pieces come out. I mean, you could definitely like maybe 3D print one or something. So that could be, an option to get that missing one done. So the next step here is gonna be cleaning up these ratty controllers. The buttons feel good. Everything feels good. I don't know if I'm gonna take them apart. I might just give them a clean, an external cleaning and see how that treats me. Sorry, I just had to get 17 volumes of Beethoven on vinyl out of the way so I could get this thing lined up in the middle so I could scoot all these over right flush against the wall so I can make some space so I can do this. Then there should theoretically be another space for here for another 6 cube perhaps or something else, I don't know. Okay, so I've been working on cleaning a couple of more pieces. Here is this hexagonal shaped piece. It's like a blue clear acrylic plastic, whatever. This little bit has a little texture to it. So, and it looks like if you kind of move it around, it has like, sort of reflects the light a little bit. So this part is part of the base for where the GameCube goes. The other part is this other piece. Again, another white acrylic kind of piece. Sits in there like this. Okay, and then there's little pegs here which correspond to the bottom of the GameCube, so that it just sort of sits in there and slides in place. I already mentioned I'm missing one here. So this part will go into, so this thing is going to go right here, and it's going to just sit right on top. Like so. I've moved this thing around a little bit, and it does feel like it sits in there a little bit better if you find like the right little spot. That could of course all be in my head, but it does feel like it sort of sits in there a little bit better in a certain spot. So, okay, boom. Got this right here. And if we come down here below, you'll see, that there's a lock here that you sort of push this little piece down to lock this little mechanism here. So this part, obviously, it swings up and down so you can get into the guts down in here, which have the light, the timer that turns off the game after a certain amount of time. I briefly tested that thing out and it doesn't seem like it really works, but I might just not have gotten the hang of it. There's a fan in there, there's a plug for the light, there's a power strip back in there too. Everything plugs into, of course. Various bibs and bobs. I think that little black with the pink tips there, it sort of goes out to like a grounding type wire, I think it might be. Let's see. It kind of looks like this, so it's like a grounding type wire, if that makes sense. So I think that wire actually goes to a reset button that is like kind of located on the front of the TV, like a little panel with a button on it that you can push. I think it turns the TV back on and off. So there's that, and besides the reset button that resets the GameCube, there is that wire I think resets the TV. I'm not quite sure because I don't have the button on the front of the TV. There's a space for it, but I just don't have it. So I think that's the case. I haven't been able to test that or confirm it. I think I saw a video that had that reset button on there. So I think that's the case. If you know, let me know. Anyway, so this lock, this little latch goes down and then you can lock it. Something like this. This lock is a little sticky. It does lock, and then it has a key that comes out as well. I'll have to get a zoomed in shot of this key. There's some kind of writing on it, but it's pretty eroded. So let's see if we can see what it says. Here it is. I'm trying to get this thing on a white background. Failing miserably, I guess. Oh, it looks okay. I can't really see what it says. Hang on a second. Canada in the middle there. Unicam. And then Ilco? Unicam Ilco. And then it says, you know, Canada DF59. Here's the back. Back doesn't say anything. I wonder what that is though. Unicam Ilco. Now that this whole piece goes on here like this, what we'll do is we take the GameCube and we stick it right in where the pegs go. And now she is locked in. Now this kiosk should have some sort of plastic dome thing that goes over the top here to seal the GameCube in from potentially being stolen or taken away or just messed with. So that was missing. So we don't have that. I have no clue on how to get some sort of replacement part for that, but for now, this is cool. So I got the two controllers, okay, I cleaned them up a little bit, just superficially, got into the little nooks and crannies. I didn't unscrew them or take them apart, partly because they're probably gonna work. They didn't look too shabby, they just look, you know, a little bit bad on the outside, so fingers crossed that they work. Taking them apart is just gonna be a whole other thing. I kinda just wanna get the whole thing put together and see how she looks, so. I'll never say never because I can always just pop them off and clean them as I go. But controllers, boom, okay, looking good. So the next step will be to take these two metal pieces, okay, that sort of hold the goes over the controller, and then it'll hold it in place. Okay, so I have these little clamps that hold the GameCube controllers into place. I took them off because they were pretty scummy, so I got them soaking in dishwater here. I got them soaking in dish soap and water, so they already feel good. I mean, they've been sitting here for a couple hours, but they feel good. I think they're gonna be perfect. It'll hold them in place down here on the ends, right here where they go, and they will go here, they'll be mounted on here, and then, two people can stand and play the game. Okay, that was a little tricky, not gonna lie. Just to get these little clips lined up and screwed in. Yeah, if I had a couple of clamps, that would have been a lot easier, but it is what it is. Oh, patience prevailed, and controllers are on, so coming along. Okay, so I got the controllers hooked up, and then I got all the stuff running through here, and I got the stuff all plugged in. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rubber band these things just to make a little bit, so they're not a bunch of loose stuff here inside the hole. So, okay, we have the cords sort of rubber banded. It looks okay. It's not, it's tough to have an elegant solution for these cords because they stick out of the front, so nothing much to be doing there. The back of course, looking good too. Okay, good. All right, next step is going to be to screw this metal plate back onto the bottom of the TV, which I unscrewed that and cleaned it up earlier, and then I guess that thing also screws onto this giant metal plate that it's sitting on. All right. Okay, easy enough. So this panel just goes onto the bottom, 4 big old screws. Perfect. And then we're just gonna mount this baby right there. Okay, so then the plug, the TV plug is gonna go through this little hole right here, and then it's gonna come in here and plug back into that power strip in the back. If you can see that little spot right in the middle that's not dirty. Plug's gonna go right in there. Okay, so I cleaned one of the side panels already. I just took this one apart, pretty dirty. Sucks that it's cracked on top, a little discoloration as well, but here are the pieces that, come out. Basically, they're just little slot holders for to stick magazines into. these little Velcro pieces here. I'm not quite sure as to why they stick on there, but they do. So I can't really tell you, but if anybody knows, maybe we can find some photos online to see what they do. So basically, I'm just going to run this under the shower. It's the easiest way to get all the dust and nonsense out of the nooks and crannies. So let's give it a little wash, a little wish wash. Okay, this baby is cleaned up. We're gonna let it drip dry here in the shower. I'm also just cleaned the other parts as well, the acrylic pieces that go in here. So I'll do a little time lapse and see how this looks. Okay, so I got everything drying. I'm pretty sure I figured out what these are. They actually open up, so they're like little tabbies, little tab things, so you can put in presumably what magazine is in the rack. So Nintendo Power, Game Informer. I don't know if they were supposed to stock anything besides Nintendo Powers, but with this little bit on there, you can definitely tell what magazine it was if you couldn't tell directly by the big writing on the cover of the magazine. Okay, so here are the acrylic pieces that go into the plastic part here. The bottom one has metal, and it's got two little screws that go through, the holes in the bottom. And then it seems like they screw into this part over here at the bottom. Also, these weren't screwed in, so I didn't have to unscrew them to get them out. So we're gonna need some nuts. and then here are what the other plastic pieces look like. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Just slide them and click them in. So let's do that. All right, these two bad boys are cleaned up and reassembled. Tops are a little crunchy, extra crunchy, but they should just sort of fit right on top, and we'll be good. Okay, so a thing that's going to work out in our favor is that the shelf sort of sits on this little lip that sticks out. The metal part back here is going to sit right on top of that. So there won't be any like real weight on the plastic part, if that makes sense. Because this thing it's brittle already, so it's pretty susceptible to damage. So at least this can just sort of sit right on there. So let's do that. Okay, they're up. Look how cool that looks. Very nice. Now let's come up a little bit closer. So I had to find some generic screws to, keep this top part from sliding off. I don't know. It feels like it's pretty on there. If I put magazines on here, I mean, it's gonna be, it's gonna add weight. But like I said, the bottom is supported by that metal stuff. Let's see if we can get under here. Right, so this metal flap is already connected to the side of this the kiosk. So this is sitting on top of it, so it's supporting all the weight. But let's see, that screw was in a bag of screws that like little extra screws and whatnot I had left over from the kiosk. So that's probably original. This was just another random one I found, but I want to put magazines in it, but I don't want to, risk it, coming. It looks like it could be pretty solid. So let's see what happens. So I've got a stack of Game Informer magazines that I'm gonna try to stick in there. Let's do it. Oh my goodness, look at this. Yo, look at that. Looking very nice. I mean, they're not Nintendo Powers, but these covers are pretty sweet. Let's get on the other side. God, sorry. Yo, that's pretty sweet. And that, my friends, was a closer look at the GameCube Kiosk. Man, I had fun making this one. It was pretty in-depth. I spent a lot of time getting this thing fixed up. I'm very happy with the way it looks right now. I hope this video gives you a little bit of insight into how the GameCube Kiosk works, looks, comes apart, etc. Hopefully it helps you out on your journey if you're trying to acquire one of these of your own. I got really lucky with this one. I knew it was coming for probably years. It's just a matter of getting it into my hands, so it's finally here. I'm super excited about it. If you have any other questions, please drop a comment. I will reply to it. I'm sure I can make another video in the future if I missed anything. So please, if you notice anything, if you have any extra parts, if you have that little plastic dome, if you have access to that, if you've seen one of those, if you could 3D print one, cool. I would love to get this thing super complete as possible. This is officially the last video of the year. This is December 31st. So once I finish recording this, I'm gonna throw it on at the end of the video where you're at right now. Thank you if you made it this far. If not, well, I guess I'll probably never see you, or I might see you, who knows? Could be 21, 24 by the time you see this, who knows? Future me, good work. Present me, also good work. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Happy New Year, my beautiful chasers, and as always, I'll see you in the next one, and never, ever forget, keep chasing them.
I love Rad Chaser. He is handsome and smart.